Welcome. I am Briana, and this is my life on paper, and I am back with Follow a Sketch February 23. There's a hashtag, and I'll have that below so you can see everybody else that's playing along, but it is with Scrapping Reflections, which is a Facebook group that's below, and Sandie Reverski, who is Steak Goddess. So she has chosen all the videos for the month, and I'm playing along here and there. This one is by sketchsupport.com, and the way I chose the colors is that so I have 3 photos, and I'm sorry, I'm not even going to show them to you. I'm going to use them upside down. It is Christmas Eve service, and it's packed with people, so I just be covering the whole photo anyway. But I cut them down into the 3x3 and the 5x3, and it works perfectly. And then I chose the colors for the layout. I'm doing a companion page for another Christmas Eve. You can see backs of heads in this one. And I just wanted to make it a coordinating page. So I'll have that linked below. So I went into my scraps and found these. The companion page has mixed media. I like the stars with being at church, and there's stars by the altar. So I chose this one. These greens don't match exactly, but they all coordinate. So I was very excited just to pull these random pieces out. And you'll see in the sketch that there are strips there. So this will work perfectly for that. I have some Nicole Jones 911 printables. So I might use those. These are for my scrappy bestie, Becky. We had done it. She'd given me an advent calendar, and this was in one of those. I have some flair. I went through and picked some in the close colors, and I found holly leaves. And with the paper that I had, I thought the holly leaves were perfect. These are, and I don't think they're not adhesive because they're not sticking to the bag, but they're gems. But they're supposed to be like holly leaves, and berries. This is also from Becky. I believe this is Paper Studio, so that might be my title. I have some Hero Arts poinsettias. I actually bought these because the kids when they were little, we used them to decorate stockings, felt stockings that they hung at school. A couple flowers. These I just got randomly at a scrapbook crop. They're bottle caps, and they're by Little Trinkets and Treasures, by Little Davis Designs, and I have a feeling these are pretty vintage. And then these were a gift from Ellie's Studio with purchase, and I just love Ellie's Studio, so I know that's linked below as well. All right, so what I'm gonna do is speed you up, and I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing. I have so many good Christmas goodies, and I didn't get barely any on this page. So I figured out which pieces of paper will go where on this according to the sketch, and then I just trim them up, and I'm excited to be using my scraps. And I'm just going to make them 12 by 12, and then from there place them on the paper and get them where I want them to go. So I just keep trimming, and then I eyeball the sketch and look at it again and compare them. So I'm making the 2 strips about the same width. I think they're about like 1.25 inches. So I'll start with the biggest one and trim that down and see how that sits there on the paper. And then from there, knowing how the sketch goes, I can trim up the other ones accordingly and kind of lay them out. You'll see later on that little strip I did. Oh, that's me measuring because I thought, ooh, they should be about the same length. So I'm going to not create the wheel again. But that little strip that I cut first isn't long enough. And it takes me a minute to figure out what to do with it, because that's all I got for that strip. So I lay it out. And then I go to find all my other pieces. Now I lay my photos out first, upside down. And then I'm going to have to turn off the camera because I figured out I'm layering stuff on top. I really like those trees. And you're really going to have to know or the photos are before you can glue the rest of that stuff down because they're overlapping. So I start with the trees because I really like those. And then I go for the flare and move them around a whole bunch and then some. This is normal for me. Trial and error, really. I know it's auditioning, but trial and error is a good description as well. Because even when I get to the point of gluing things down, I might still be moving things because I change my mind. And that's okay. I like this green tag from Ellie's Studio as the journaling box. So that I cut that off to dry fit it. The red tag says gathered together. The green journaling box says remember this. So then of course I have to move. Once I get the green tag down, then I didn't want I wanted it to coordinate with the flare, so then they all get moved around again. And that's where the red words gathered together end up staying. And then I pull out my Ellie's Studio stickers that I haven't used yet, and I'm looking for extra pieces, especially for on those flare. And I didn't know if I should use the stars because the stars weren't gold. I don't know why that bothered me, but I didn't want to use hearts because I was already using stars, if that makes sense. Not that you couldn't do both, but this is where I start gluing things down. I want to get everything placed straight. I do grab my ruler. I'm going to get at least the first strip straight. I figure if I get the first strip straight, everything's got to line up after that. So I'm not usually too picky, but with the 4 strips, I figured if I got one wrong, they'd all be wonky. This wasn't my best choice, just trying to get the first one on, just like holding on to it and moving it. Oh, you can see me there. I put some adhesive on that one side, and then without it being on the other side, it just moved anyway. So I'm going to try the ruler again and get the other side down, and then I move those other ones out of the way because I can just eyeball everything after I get the initial one down. And that's what I do here. Put the holly berries and holly leaves in place, and then make sure that's down good so it's not going anywhere. I get this print just says Merry Christmas over and over and over again, and that was Paper Studio I saw on the back of the paper. So I'm gonna get that straightened out, and this is where I look at the sketch, and I don't know if you see me hesitate, but I was like, darn, it's not long enough. Should I go longer on the right side? Should I go longer on the left side? And then I don't know when the light bulb goes on, but there's a picture underneath there, so you can just cut that in half and make it plenty long on both sides. But yeah, I got to glue it down first before I figure that out. So there it goes, and it gets lengthened. And that makes me much more happy. Not that you couldn't have left it short and no one would have noticed, but you know, when you're following a sketch, I often like to, at least the first time I use it, I like to follow it pretty closely. And then I'm going to turn the camera off to get those photos down so that I can put the trees in the right spot. And then there's a spot where I don't film, so I'll talk you through that too. So there's the photos down, and then I'm going to get the trees down and the flare down, and for some reason I skip a flare, and that was my problem at the end that I forgot and tried to get in there. And I do keep the green with the green. I think that's probably where the holly was supposed to go. So I use this the tape, foam tape, to put on the back of the flare, and I think I got it at the dollar store. This one, with it going against the chipboard tag, I put 2 layers of that foam tape down the middle so that it kind of sits up on top of that. And so then I do the same thing to the other flare, but I only used one layer. But I totally forget about that third flare. So I get the other trees down. I'm so glad I got to use these trees. I just think they look so good. And they do overlap in the sketch. They overlap the photo. And so I'm trying to peek in there, making sure I'm not covering anything that shouldn't be covered. And then the title actually overhangs or overlaps the picture as well. So I made sure to do that. But I just really want something to go on these flare. And like I said, I wasn't sure about the stars, but I knew I didn't want the hearts. So in the end, I do take these white stars and put them down, but I like two pieces on my flare. I don't know why. Does it matter? No. Could you put three? Could you put one? Yes. So I put the stars on, and then I'm thinking, what else can I put with them? And I don't want to use the hearts. I'm not sure if there were stars in this. So yep, or dots, a dot. So a red dot, but I didn't want to put a red dot on the red flare. Problems, problems. I ended up finding a different Ellie Studio collection and I had green stars to put on there, and it works really good. And I think you might have to wait till the final pictures to actually see that on there. So I think this is where I turn it off, I turn it back on, and then I quickly put this other, oh yep, you can see the star down there, the green star and the red flare. And then I add this flare. So make sure you're following everyone below. I'll have everybody listed. Please let me know if you have any questions or any comments. I appreciate your comments so much. Thank you for subscribing. I will be back again soon with another video. Watch at the end for still shots, and I hope you have a fantastic day.